Listen up. I've got three massive Celtic stories for you today. Chris Sutton saying Wilfried Nancy's phone call proves he gets Celtic already. Liam Scales dropping that brilliant line about just wanting to be in the team, and the big one, a Celtic starlet agreeing terms with Liverpool. Stay with me till the very end. We have 6 news a day to keep you updated with the mighty Celtic. Hit that subscribe button and be part of it. Let me tell you, this whole thing with Wilfried Nancy phoning Martin O'Neill has thrown a proper spark through Lennoxtown, and honestly, you can feel it in the air like one of those wild Glasgow gusts that rattle the windows on a sucky Hall Street night. And Chris Sutton's spot on. This is the sort of move that tells you the new gaffer actually gets what Celtic is. You don't just walk into paradise thinking you've invented football. You show respect to the legends who've kept the fire burning. And Martin O'Neill, that man is carved into the soul of this club like Jock Stein on the steps outside. So the fact Nancy reached out, had the chat, asked questions, soaked up the wisdom, that's not small talk, that's emotional intelligence. That's understanding that Celtic's not just another job on a CV. This is pressure, heat, madness, glory, expectation, and a wall of noise that makes grown men crumble or turn into icons. Martin didn't sugarcoat anything, and that's exactly what Nancy needs. No soft selling, no easing in. Welcome to Glasgow, big man. This place will love you or crush you, depending on what you do on a Sunday. And the thing is, Martin O'Neill didn't just steady the ship. He grabbed the wheel, hauled it round, and had Celtic back level with Hearts when, weeks earlier, we'd been drifting like some lost fishing boat in the Clyde. He built confidence, held the squad together, and by the time he handed over the keys, you could see a proper rhythm forming again. That's the man Nancy chose to call first. And Sutton's buzzing about that because it tells you the new boss is no fool. He's willing to listen before he stamps his own identity on this squad. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Nothing prepares a manager for Glasgow. Sutton found that out, and plenty before him. This city doesn't do calm. While the other mob across the river cry louder than the rain hitting the windscreen on the M8, Celtic rolls with storms and still demands excellence. Nancy's about to face Hearts, Roma, and a cup final in his first week. Talk about a baptism of fire. But see by the way he's already operating? Calm, classy, smart. It feels like someone who isn't here for the chaos, but for the challenge. He'll tweak things bit by bit, not tear up the foundations. Winning comes first, philosophy later. And with O'Neill's perspective in his back pocket, he's got a clearer picture than most new managers ever get walking through the door. Now let me throw this at you because it's the question burning a hole through my brain. Do you reckon Nancy reaching out to Martin O'Neill proves he already understands the soul of Celtic better than our last manager ever did? Hit that subscribe button, lades. Let's G it. Loldy till we hit 1,500 mad Celtic. Dafts. Liam Scales has come out swinging with the sort of attitude you love to hear in a Celtic dressing room, especially when a new manager's just walked through the doors at Lennoxtown with fresh ideas rattling around his head. And honestly, hearing Scales say he doesn't care about the system, the shape, or whether he's in a back 3, a back 4, or playing left wing back on a cold Wednesday that feels like the sky's falling over Glasgow, that tells you everything about the lad's mentality. He just wants the shirt. He wants to be on that pitch. And that's exactly the sort of hunger that keeps you nailed into a Celtic side, no matter who's in the dugout. Wilfried Nancy's barely had time to finish his tour of the training ground, never mind start sketching out his master plan for paradise, but you can already feel that itch for tactical evolution coming. At Columbus Crew, he lived in that 3 at the back world, the kind of system that demands defenders with brains, bravery, and a bit of swagger. Well, Scales and Trusty already look like a pair shaping into something proper at the heart of our defense, and the new gaffer will have clocked that in about 5 minutes, and Scales being honest enough to say he hasn't had the time to do a deep dive on Nancy is actually refreshing. This isn't some lad obsessed with YouTube highlight reels or tactical breakdowns. He's been too busy winning matches for Celtic, while Martin O'Neill steadied the season like a veteran captain riding a storm on the Clyde. Scales doesn't want a preconceived idea. He wants to learn face-to-face, proper football mentality but what really stands out is how he rang the bell loud and clear. Players will naturally sharpen up when a new manager walks in the room. That's human nature. You've got a fresh set of eyes watching every movement, every training drill, every pass that goes a little astray. And Scales is ready for that. He's not just here for the ride. He's here to build on what he's done this season, where he's already been one of the pillars of our defense. And let's be honest, Nancy's no fool. He's watched Celtic close enough these past weeks to know Scales is second only to Calmac when you're writing down the names on that team sheet. And as we all know too well, while the other lot across the river are still trying to figure out which excuses to use after every drop point, Celtic players don't get to hide. A new manager means new standards, new expectations, and Scales has already stepped forward like a lad who understands the badge and what it demands. Now, here's what I want to ask you, and don't dodge this one. Do you think Scales should be one of the guaranteed starters under Nancy, even if the new system pushes someone else out of the squad? Hit that subscribe button, lads. Let's G it loldy till we hit 1,500 mad Celtic daffs. Dara Jikiemi leaving Celtic before most folk at Paradise even had the chance to hear his name properly. That stings a bit, doesn't it? And let's call it what it is. Another young talent tempted by the glitter and gold of the English Premier League before he's even grown into his boots. Liverpool waving around their promises and Premier League flash like someone trying to nick your lunch money outside Sucky Hall. And the worst part? It's becoming a pattern. The same route Ben Gannon Doak took when he swapped the green and white for the red, all before Celtic could show him what it means to grow up at a real football club. The lad's only 15, still in school, still playing above his age group with the under-18s, but clearly rated highly enough that Liverpool have been circling like seagulls above the Clyde. And now, according to the secret scout, terms are agreed, the bags are nearly packed, and he's already been pulled out of Scotland youth duty so they can smooth the move through without distractions. You can't help but wonder what sort of advice these kids get. Because staying at Celtic until you're ready isn't just good football sense, it's the difference between playing meaningful matches in front of 60,000 folk and disappearing into an under-21 league where your biggest audience is the parents in the stands. And what makes this even more frustrating is that Celtic were bracing themselves for this exact scenario. They knew the bid was coming. That's the Premier League machine for you. Iron their shirts with banknotes, promise the world, and hope the parents get dazzled. Meanwhile, we're trying to build a proper pathway, trying to keep the pipeline strong. And every time a Starlet starts to shine, one of the mega clubs down south turns up with their checkbook spelled out in millions and millions of pounds. But let's be fair to the kid. He's talented, a proper defender, physically ahead of his age, a Scotland youth international who looks like he's been fast-tracked since day one. And that alone tells you why Liverpool fancy him. The boy has something, and losing him hurts, but it doesn't define Celtic's academy. We've still got a conveyor belt that would make the lot across the river weep harder than they did after their last title challenge crumbled like a dodgy pie crust. Still, you've got to ask yourself, how many more of these do we take before Celtic start changing the way we protect young talent? When the English clubs come calling, you either fight harder or you lose the future before it even arrives. So here's the question I want you to tackle, and be honest with yourself. Is Celtic doing enough to keep its best young players, or are Premier League clubs stealing our future before we even get to see it? Hit that subscribe button, lads. Let's G it loudy till we hit 1,500 mad Celtic daffs.